applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Diffuse, mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like told me, keep on running, toes they gon' take them. Refuse to lose, built the win, applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win, yeah. Refuse to lose, I built the win, applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse.
Welcome back to CTC. I'm your gracious host, Carl, and I'm back with another episode. And today we are discussing the last week in college football regular season. It is the regular season finale. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. It helps with the channel, helps with the network. It helps my channel, CTC, by way of the Refuse to Lose network. Now, like I said, this is a network, so we have multiple shows. We have the main show featuring Joe, Tomo, and Dave every Tuesday and Friday, 7 o'clock to about 8:30ish. Fridays lately, they've been going live around 8 o'clock. Again, Joe, my apologies for calling you during the show. But, you know, I was at my grandma's house. It was her B-Day yesterday. Shout out, Grandma. Happy B-Day, Grandma. I'm not going to share her age, obviously, but it was a good time. They cheated in spades, by the way. Grandma definitely cheated. She reneged. And because it was her birthday, we let her take it back. But, oh, well. Yeah, I'm a little salty. Anyway. We got Unfazed every Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, which the days have been a little bit off due to life being life, but make sure y'all tune into them. We got BWT, Baseball with Teddy. Baseball episodes, just stay tuned for when those drop. We got FFC, Fantasy Football with Coach Coombs, who will drop next week. And, I mean, I know them fantasy football seasons heating up. We got RBO, Real Ballers Only NBA show featuring Vaughn, which my Pistons got eliminated from World Cup contention. I was ready to, to hold up a World Cup championship like it was an NBA banner, man. I ain't seen my team win a playoff series since 2009. I was going to definitely celebrate that, but we blew it. We lost 2 straight Cup games to Boston and to Orlando, 2 teams that I didn't want to lose to. But either way. And next we got Dave's Doghouse, highlights and lowlights of sports. And last but not least, we got In the Red Corner featuring Ty, Ricky, and Tomo boxing episodes. They go live on Sundays, not every Sunday, but when they do go live, on Sundays. And they just went live last Sunday. So make sure you check them out. And that's all the shows we have on the network. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to those as well. And if you like what you're listening to, stick with us. Oh, shoot. Try to raise my chair. All right. So, like I said, we will be getting into the Week 14 games to this week. I want to explain some things. So far, I am 4-4 this week. Not my greatest week, but hey, Saturdays is normally turnaround day, so hopefully as this Saturday goes as other Saturdays have gone. We do have some title game clinches. We do have the Big 12 title game, which has been clinched with the Arizona win over Arizona State. We have BYU taking on Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship. That game is already clinched. Texas Tech only having 1 loss in conference, which was to Arizona State, who lost. So they have 3 losses now in conference. And with that, BYU has 1 loss in conference, which was to Texas Tech. While Utah, which was the only other team in contention, has 2 losses. They lost to BYU and Texas Tech. So they are eliminated. So the Big 12 championship is, again, Texas Tech and BYU. Another clinch, we have New Mexico, who should be in the Mountain West. I'm pretty sure New Mexico's in the Mountain West Conference Championship game. Shout out to them beating San Diego State yesterday on one of my 4 losses this week. But they have clinched. Western Michigan, like I said, on Tuesday, clinched a spot in the MAC Championship. So shout out to them for that. Texas A&M has been eliminated from SEC Championship from the SEC Championship game with that loss to Texas. Arch Manning looks really good. Texas A&M 11-0, but lost the one that counted. which is crazy. They've been Western Michigan is the only team I saw where they put the little note if they win in their conference championship game that actually won. They did it for Georgia Tech. They lost to Pitt. They did it for Texas A&M. They lost to Texas. So I don't know. If I'm playing, I don't want the people to my people to be like, hey, you know, they had the little ticker saying if y'all win, y'all in y'all conference championship. I'd be sick. So just a little funny. Just a little funny thing there. With the Big Ten, Indiana punches their ticket to the Big Ten championship after going 12-0, beating Purdue last night, beating the crap out of Purdue. Wasn't even close. They're waiting to see who they play today. A big part of that will be the first game I'll talk about in a second. The ACC has a ton of implications. Nobody has punched a ticket yet, so a lot to look out for today in the ACC. Like I said, the Sun Belt, JMU punched a ticket 2 weeks ago. The person that they will play against at home next week will be determined in the game I'll talk about later between Southern Miss and Troy. Let's see. Am I missing a conference? Let's see. I think I got every conference. Conference USA. Nobody has clinched a spot yet. There are conference championship implications going on today. One game involves two of the teams. So winner shall be in. Loser may need some help. So that is that on conference championship scenarios, because I believe I got every conference now. Oh, American. I said American. I think I said it that nobody's punched yet. Oh, I'm lying. North Texas has punched their ticket to the American Athletic Conference Championship. And shout out North Texas, man. Came out of nowhere this season. Well, I don't want to say came out of nowhere because they've always had offense. I want to say making the conference championship to me came out of nowhere. Not them being a good team, but I didn't have them making the conference championship. So shout out to them. Tulane, if they win today, they are in, and they were my American Conference champion in the preseason. So I want them to win today. So that's the American there. Now I'm pretty sure I got all the conference championships out the way. And we're going to, after this comment, we're going to move forward to the first game, week 14 finale. It's going to be a good one for sure. And let's start off with a good one. We're going to start off with the game of all games. Ohio State, at Michigan. Michigan is at home this year. This game, man, I'm not going to lie. Michigan has owned Ohio State. So the last 4 years, Michigan has beaten Ohio State, and some would say one of the more recent times where Ohio State won, Michigan got cheated. I, for one, will say that being realistic, that wasn't a first down. If you know the game I'm talking about, you know that was not a first down by Ohio State. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. We're talking about the game today, and Ohio State, surprisingly to me, comes into this game as 10.5-point road favorites against Michigan in Ann Arbor, in a game where they lost 4 straight. Now, for Ohio State, first of all, I'd like to say that Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate is back. I don't think last week was any concern for this week. I think they were getting sat against Rutgers, who has one Big Ten win all year, which was Maryland. So I think they're back. Ohio State got to stop the run. Michigan leans on defense and running the football. And Justice Haynes is questionable to be back. I think he's actually probable, but I think he's going to play. It's the rivalry game. He's going to play. But you got to stop the run no matter who it is, because they've been running the ball no matter who it's been. Get Jeremiah Smith the ball. Obviously. You want to establish the run of your own. You want to force third and longs, because Michigan is not a team built to consistently get third and longs, especially against an Ohio State defense. And you want to force some turnovers. Northwestern did a great job of forcing turnovers, which had them up at a point of time. Had them looking like they were about to win, to be honest. So that'd be huge. Now, if you're Michigan, like I said, Justice Haynes may be back. Establish the run. That's what you're built to do. You're built to establish the run. Next, you want to you want to get Andrew Marsh the ball, the wide receiver on the outside. You want to get him the ball. He's been your best receiver. So let's get that done. Stay ahead of the chains, because, again, I don't think you're a team built to consistently get third and longs. Make this a low-scoring game, because I, again, think you're building on defense and running the ball. So if Ohio State is running up a score, that does not bode well for you. And pressure Julian Sayin. I think this is going to be a huge test for Julian Sayin. His first huge test against Texas week 1, he looked iffy. And I think this is another test to see how good Julian Sayin really is. I didn't even write down the winner because I was so stuck on this game. Now, my winner, like I said, I've been stuck. I haven't even wrote one down. Because part of me is saying last year was supposed to be the year Ohio State beat Michigan at home. You had a national championship team. Michigan team last year was not good. They could not throw the ball, and they still beat you at your house. This year, I don't even think that Ohio State's a national championship team. And this is a better Michigan football team. They're in their house. I'm not saying the name of that stadium. They're in their house. Everything in me tells me Michigan wins this game. So you know what? I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna take Michigan. I'm gonna take them strictly off recent history. I'm gonna take them off the fact they won 4 times straight. Now, last year I said it's no way Ohio State lets it be 4 times straight, as they allowed it to be 4 times straight. So I can't say like no, they definitely not gonna let it be 5 times straight. I can't. So I gotta take Michigan. I'm gonna take Michigan to win this game. It hurts, but on my show I am unbiased. I think they make it a 5th time straight in the big house. I'm not as high as Ohio State this team this year as I was last year. I gotta go with history here. I gotta go, and let me say I gotta go with recent history. I gotta go with recent history here. I'm taking Michigan to beat Ohio State and still be in contention for a Big Ten championship game. I am. I have to, and I'll be gladly wrong. I will be wrong, and I'd be happy with being wrong if Ohio State win. But I gotta go with recent history here. Next, we got the Miami Hurricanes at Pittsburgh Panthers today at 12 o'clock. Miami is 12th in the country. Pitt is 22nd. And by the way, my fault if I didn't say this. Ohio State is 1st in the country. Michigan is 15th. But anyway, Miami is coming into this one. They need this game. They need this game, and they need a whole lot of help to make the ACC championship game. Pitt needs this game, and they may need some help to make it. I think they need help as well, being though Virginia only has 1 loss in conference. SMU has 1 loss in conference. But I know Miami need a ton of help. They lost the tiebreaker with SMU, so they need a loss there and other things to help. They need Virginia to lose or some. They just need a lot of help, pretty much. So Miami, they got to stop the run. Desmond Reed is looking to be back. I think he said they said it was probable today for Pitt. I think he's playing with a chance at the ACC championship on the line. I think he is playing, but if he's not, Ja'Cory Taylor is good enough to suffice. As you can see, he had 200 yards against Georgia Tech last week. But you got to stop the run, no matter who it is. You got to get Malachi Tony the ball. He is your playmaker. What they say on Friday Night Lights? Oh, and he can pass. He threw a pass. Played quarterback in high school. Explosive with the football in his hands. Got to get him the ball. Run Mark Fletcher. Enough said, man. You got to win them battles in the trenches with running the football. Contain Mason Heichel legs. Do not let him beat you with his legs. Keep him in that pocket, pressure him, get him on the ground. And you got to force some turnovers. You got to force some turnovers if you're Miami. Now, if you're Pitt, like I said, Desmond Reed may be back. And if he is back, you got to get him the football any way possible. Passing game, running the ball. He's just electric with that ball in his hands, and he's tough to bring down. Get Kenny Johnson the football to the outside. Pressure Carson back. Maybe pressuring him. Turns the ball over time or two. Protect the football if you're Pitt, and limit explosive plays because Miami can get you with explosive plays, whether it's JoJo Trader, Malachi Tony, Keelan Marion, CJ Daniels. No matter what it is, Miami can get you with them explosive plays. But my winner, man, I'm going with Miami. And Pitt fans might be tired of me saying this. I just don't believe in Pitt. I don't. And then I can't remember what was the coaching decision that Pat Narduzzi made against Georgia Tech. I want to say it was a fake punt at midfield that he ran and they didn't get. Where I was just like, punt the ball. I love Narduzzi, man, former DC of Michigan State when we were lit. But it looked like today's gonna be a battle of questionable coaching decisions between him and Mario. But ultimately, I think Miami gets the job done here. Pitt, they are at home. They do have the home crowd advantage and stuff like that. But I'm just not a believer in Pitt. I think Miami can get them offensively. I think they can get a lot of explosive plays. Georgia Tech's issue last week was the defense came out slow. Then when the defense actually bowed down, you got Haynes King throwing pick sixes. And then the one time they needed to stop, they didn't get it. But hey, they stopped them a while. I think Miami defense does a good job against the Pitt offense. And I think Miami gets the job done. So I'm going to roll with Miami. They might even get a turnover or two. I'm rolling with the U. Next, we got some action. We got MAC championship implications on the line here. We got Toledo coming in as 11.5-point favorites at Central Michigan. This game is 12 o'clock on ESPN Plus. Now Toledo needs this win to have a chance at a MAC championship, which Toledo was my MAC champion in the preseason. So they need this win to have a chance. If they lose, they're out. If they win, I got it right here. If they win, I believe they need Miami of Ohio to lose. Ohio won yesterday against Buffalo. They were able to hang on to win that game, as they shouldn't even needed to hang on to win. I don't know how it got that close. I turned from it when Ohio was up big because you had Kansas and Utah at the time being on. So I focused my attentions there, which Utah got a big pick six to win that game, all for nothing in terms of conference play. But Toledo needs a win, yes, and the Miami of Ohio lost today. If that happens, they'll be tied with Ohio, and it comes down to some analytics things because they did not play each other in the regular season. So for Toledo, you obviously got to establish Chip Trainium, former Power 5 running back from schools of Kentucky and Ohio State. You got to get Junior Van Der Ross the ball, force third and longs, protect the football, and I think you need to score against the Central Michigan defense because I don't think that Central Michigan is built to score a ton of points. Now, if you're Central Michigan, you obviously want to get Landon Lewis, your best receiver, the ball, stop the run, establish your run because I think running the ball and controlling the clock would be huge in this game against Toledo. Force turnovers. You want to make this a low-scoring affair. You want to find a way to hang around late game at home and make the play to win the game late in the ball game. But I think Toledo does win here. I think Toledo offensively is a bit much for the Central Michigan defense. I don't see Toledo blowing out Central Michigan, but I do see them pulling off a win. Maybe 2 scores against Central Michigan because I do respect the Central Michigan defense. It's the Central Michigan offense I'm worried about against I don't want to say against this great Toledo defense because it's not, but I'm just worried about the Central Michigan offense consistently getting scores. So I'm going to roll with Toledo in this one. They win and still have a fighting chance to make the MAC Conference Championship, as we have a comment. Shout out to you, bro. Appreciate you joining the live for the first time. Hopefully you're enjoying the content. Who's that? Country Boy Barnes. Definitely appreciate you. Please like, comment, subscribe if you like the content, and hopefully I can keep you around. Next, we have Western Kentucky at Jacksonville State, which this is one of my favorite games today. Y'all know I've been Jack State last season. The first season they was in the FBS. Then Rich Rod leaves to go to West Virginia. Charles Kelly steps in. And, I still like Jack State. But I picked Western Kentucky to win the Conference USA in the preseason. I thought this was the year of parity, and I thought this was the year that Western Kentucky can finally get themselves a conference championship, which has eluded them for quite some time. And they need this game really big. I think if they lose, they're done. I think if they win, they're automatically in. I got the scenario right here. But I think that's how it goes. I know Jack State has the possibility of being alive with the win if Kennesaw State loses today, which Kennesaw State plays Liberty on the road. So Western Kentucky and Kennesaw State happens if Western Kentucky wins and Kennesaw State wins, because Jacksonville State will be out with 2 losses. Kennesaw State can happen if Jacksonville State wins and Kennesaw State wins. That's Jack State and Kennesaw State. Oh no, if Jacksonville State wins, period, I think if Jacksonville State wins, period, is Jacksonville State and Kennesaw State. So if they lose, they're done. And it could be Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State again, like last year, if Western Kentucky wins and Kennesaw State loses. So those are the 3 scenarios for the Conference USA Championship. Let's get into the game. First point we have is Western Kentucky got to stop the run. That's probably their Achilles heel on defense. And I'm not even going to say probably. That's their Achilles heel on defense. Stopping the run. And that's what Jack State likes to do a ton. They love to run the football with Cam Cook and Caden Creel. Contain Caden Creel legs. Obviously, the second point. Get Matthew Henry the ball, who's a receiver I love. I don't think Matthew Henry's a senior. And if he's not, I don't think he plays at Western Kentucky next year. I think somebody pays him to be a power 4 receiver next year. Or power 5, because Pac-12 comes back next year. Get off the field on third downs, which is also a struggle for this Western Kentucky defense, and get Jack State offense behind the chains, which is always big for a run, high-tempo run first offense. Now, Jack State, obviously, you got to run your quarterback, Caden Creel. Stay ahead of schedule. Force turnovers. I think that is huge because Western Kentucky loves to sling the ball around the yard. You got to force some turnovers there. pressure Maverick McAvoy, who's really accurate. He can use his legs. He doesn't want to, it seems, but he can use them. And run Cam Cook. But my winner in this one, I'm going Jack State. I'm going against my preseason prediction. I am going with Jacksonville State because, one, they run the football so effectively, and Western Kentucky has a tough time getting off the field on third downs. And two, I do feel like this Jack State defense can put pressure on Maverick McAvoy and force a couple turnovers. And Jack State's at home. Implications of a Conference USA being back-to-back Conference USA champions, I should say, on the line. I do think Jack State wins this ball game, and they will play Kennesaw State in the national, not in the national, oh my God, in the Conference USA championship game, which Jack State did win that game when they've met up in the regular season. So give me Jack State to win that game. Shout out my boy Joe in the comments. Shout out to CTC and shout out to Texas getting that much needed dub. Absolutely. And I talked to Joe, offline. I told him, I think that if y'all win, which he's a Texas fan, against Texas A&M, I think that puts them in the playoffs. With SEC bias, I think that win might have put them in the playoffs. Now, obviously, we got to wait and see till next week and then at the conference championship week. But I think with SEC bias and them being the only SEC team to beat Texas A&M, that puts them in the playoffs. Shout out to KQS. He says, okay. Yes, sir. Appreciate you tuning in to the live, my guy. But we'll move on to the next game, which is Oregon at 6th-ranked Oregon at Washington. Oregon comes into this one at 6.5-point road favorites against Washington, which they have not had success of recent memory against Washington, but new head coach. There's no longer Kalen DeBoer there. Different team, different QB. So a little different scenario there. Oregon contain Damon Williams' legs. You gotta do. He's so explosive. You have to contain him. Establish Noah Whittington, who is a hard-nosed runner. I'll say that. Get Malik Benson and possibly DeCorian Moore. I seen he was questionable today, so possibly DeCorian Moore makes his return today. You want to get them the ball. Force turnovers and force 3rd and longs. I know that Washington has a guy in Denzel Boston who is very explosive, tough to stop, who can pick up 3rd and longs. But I would love my chances against Washington consistently forcing 3rd and longs, taking the run game out of the situation. So I would definitely love my situation there from Oregon. Now from Washington, you want to pressure Dante Moore, who he did a great job last week. I got to give Dante Moore his flowers, man. He's having a great season at Oregon. Get Denzel Boston the ball. Establish Jonah Coleman, who's looking like one of the best backs. Now, we all know who the best back in the country is this year. It's Jeremiah Love. But he's looking like one of the best backs. Run Damon Williams and win the turnover battle. That'd be huge. If Washington can win the turnover battle and get extra possessions and convert on said extra possessions, that'd be huge. But ultimately, I'm going Oregon, man. This Oregon offense is looking tough to stop. The defense, they get timely stops, timely turnovers. But that Oregon offense, man, they are putting up a ton of points. They put up a ton of points last week against USC. They're looking tough to stop. And I think Washington's going to have a tough time stopping that Oregon offense. And Washington of late hasn't looked great. I mean, you looked bad against Wisconsin, although those were like weather conditions and stuff like that. You still didn't look bad. Still look bad against that Wisconsin team. They haven't looked the best. And I'm going to just roll with Oregon, who, everybody says they haven't played anybody, which is true. This is true. But you got to give them credit for their USC win. So I'm going to take Oregon in this one. Next, this game right here. This is the game I was waiting on. Vanderbilt, 14th ranked Vanderbilt at 19th ranked Tennessee. This game is 3:30 on ESPN. Tennessee is actually 2.5-point home favorites. Vanderbilt, they're looking for their first 10-win season since I can remember. It's been a long time since they had 10 wins. While Tennessee, in my opinion, they're looking for a good win. Tennessee, to me, has no good wins. So this will be a great win in a rivalry game. Battle of Tennessee. Vanderbilt, obviously, you want to run Diego Pavia. That's obvious. He's the heart and soul of this offense. Get Eli Stowers the ball. You want to force some turnovers against the Tennessee team because when Tennessee loses, they normally force some turnovers. Meaning they normally turn the ball over, Pressure Joey Aguilar and run Cedric Alexander. Now, if you're Tennessee, you want to contain Diego Pavia. Obviously, like I said, he's the heartbeat of that offense. Which, by the way, shout out Clark Lee, 6-year coaching extension was signed this week. So congratulations to him. Now, if you're Tennessee, you want to establish Star Thomas and Deshaun Bishop, the running backs for Tennessee. Get Chris Brazil the ball. protect the football. That should be absolutely top of the priority. And limit the explosive plays that Vanderbilt can have with guys like Trey Richardson, guys, Junior Sherrills, like I said, Eli Stowers, Cedric Alexander, Adrian Newberry. With guys like that, you want to limit explosive plays by Vanderbilt. But ultimately, I'm picking Vandy. Why? Because, again, Tennessee has no good wins. So I'm rolling with Vanderbilt here. I think Vanderbilt gets the win on the road as a dog, even though they're, above them in the rankings. I just think, man, Tennessee turns the ball over in big games too much. I can see them turn the ball over again here. And Vanderbilt in big games, they elevate, they rise. Pavia rises this game. So I think they get the job done against Tennessee and gets the first 10-win season I can remember, since I can remember Vanderbilt, to be honest with you. Next, this is also a game that kind of was tough for me to pick. Now, this game has nothing on the line. There's no Big 12 title implications on the line. This is just a battle for, a better bowl game. Got Cincinnati at TCU, 3:30 on Fox. TCU comes into this one as 3.5-point favorites, home favorites. Cincinnati coming off a tough loss against BYU. TCU's coming off a great win against Houston. For Cincinnati, you want to run Brendan Sorsby, You want to run him, use his legs. You want to get Cyrus Allen the ball. Establish the run, whether it's Evan Pryor or Tyree Walker, more than likely Evan Pryor. Pressure Josh Hoover, because Josh Hoover does have a tendency under pressure to turn the ball over, which leads me to my last point. You want to get off the field on third downs. Cincinnati did a great job defensively on BYU last week. Their defense has not been great throughout the season, however. So still, you want to build upon last week and get off the field on third downs. Now, if you are TCU, you want to protect the football. They allowed Houston back in that game, turning the ball over. Last week, Houston-TCU game was, like I said last week, or early in the week, a game of mistakes. You want to protect the football if you're TCU. No Kavorian Barnes yet again. So, again, Jeremy Payne and Battle have to step up at the running back position. Get the ball to Eric McAllister and Joseph Manjack. You want to contain Brandon Sorsby's legs, and you want to score, forcing the Cincinnati offense to match you, which means that their defense is not getting off the field on third downs. And ultimately, because of said defense, they are on the road. I am taking TCU because I do think TCU, with their senior day, wants to go out and win this ball game. They have extra motivation. I feel like TCU, at least in my opinion, TCU didn't have the season that they wanted, which they still had a great season. Don't get me wrong. But I think they saw themselves competing for a Big 12 championship, which I wouldn't be mad at preseason-wise. I was high on TCU. But I think with that added motivation, plus, again, Cincinnati's terrible defense, I think TCU wins this ball game. Next, we got the game to determine who plays JMU in the Sun Belt Championship game. We have Troy at Southern Miss. Now, Troy, they won 2 straight Sun Belt titles under John Summerall, who's now at Tulane, has the potential to go into back-to-back American Athletic Conference title games under John Summerall. So Summerall just wins wherever he is. That's why Florida's looking at him. But this is a big one, man. This is a big one. So for Troy, you want to contain Braylon Braxton's legs. He is an electric quarterback. But you want him to beat you from the pocket. You really want him to beat you from the pocket. You want to establish the run, which is Tay Meadows. You want to score. Why? Because that Southern Miss defense at times does look a little leaky. So you want to put up points and force Southern Miss to match you in the scoring department. You want to force turnovers if you're Troy, and you got to get off the field on third downs against this Southern Miss offense, or they will score points. So you got to get off the field on third downs. Southern Miss, you want to run Braylon Braxton, add that extra dimension to your offense. Get the ball to Elijah Metcalf, the Middle Tennessee State transfer, who's having a great year for Southern Miss. Get off the field on third downs, because I think that is a problem at times for Southern Miss defense. Pressure Tucker Kilcrease, and stop the run. Do not allow Troy to run the ball all over you. And with that being said, I think this is a close game. But Southern Miss has a lot of the players from Marshall's Sun Belt Championship team last year. So they have that championship DNA. They know what it takes to win a championship. Coach Huff over there, he's going to have his guys ready. He's going to have them prepared for a championship atmosphere, because this is essentially a playoff game. You win, you go to the title game. You lose, you get a bowl. You get nothing but a bowl, and you know how they cheat Group of 5 schools. So I am rolling with Southern Miss here to win this game, and a close one. I think it's going to be very close, but that championship DNA rears its head, and I think Southern Miss gets the job done against Troy at home. Now, another game with nothing but bowl implications, as in who getting a better bowl. We got Northwestern at Illinois. Illinois is 6.5 point home favorites against Northwestern. It was 7.5 last night. I did take Northwestern plus 7.5 last night. But this game is 7:30 on Fox. And for Northwestern, man, you got to continue to protect Preston Stone. Preston Stone's been playing some good football down the stretch this year. Northwestern's been playing some good football down the stretch, to be honest. Established Caleb Kumalafe, the running back, who I accidentally called Cam. I mixed him and Cam Porter name last week, so my apologies. Get Griffin Weldy the ball, pressure Luke Altmaier, and win the field position battle, because I think that'll be huge in this game. I think this game might be very defensive. Now, for Illinois, you want to get the ball to Hank Beatty, who's been their best receiver, almost 1,000 yards. He's at like 8 and some change, so a big game today. He might push 1,000. He might get 1,000 this year, which is huge. Pressure Preston Stone. But you also got to watch his legs. His legs was big against Minnesota last week. So, yeah, you want to put pressure on him, but you can't let him escape the pocket and run the football. Force turnovers if you're Illinois. Establish the run and force third and longs, because Northwestern's not a team that want to consistently be in third and longs. They want to be third and short to open up the entire playbook, so they won't be predictable. And my winner, though, going with Northwestern straight up, man. Northwestern has been playing great football down the stretch, while Illinois has been looking really shaky to me down the stretch. Northwestern, you can make an argument they should have beat Michigan. Then they came back at home and beat Minnesota. And now, yes, both of those were technically home games because they were at Wrigley Field. But I mean, Illinois, Champaign, I don't know how far Champaign is from Chicago geographically, but they're in the same state. Pretty sure the fans are going to travel well. I don't think they're going to be super Illinois out. So I think Northwestern can get the job done. Like I said, they've been playing solid. They've been playing great football. Defense has been very good. I think Aiden Hubbard will return today from injury against Minnesota. So give me Northwestern straight up to beat Illinois. And now the last game of the regular season pod for 2025, the 2025 season. We have SMU at Cal. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this game is because this is ACC championship applications. SMU win, they're in. If they lose, stuff can happen where they can be out. Now, SMU comes into this one as 13.5-point road favorites against Cal. This game is 8 o'clock on ESPN2. Now, for SMU, you got to run Kevin Jennings. You got to use his legs. He's dangerous. Establish TJ Harden and Chris Johnson Jr., the running backs for SMU. Get Romello Brents and Jordan Hudson the ball. Again, let them be Yak Kings. They were Yak Kings against Miami. Pressure Jerome Kiwe Sagaputele, the quarterback for Cal, who's had a phenomenal freshman year, but he do have times where he tend to struggle. And get off the field on third downs, because that'll be huge for this SMU defense. Now for Cal, you got to protect Jerron Kiwe Sagaputele, man, the phenomenal freshman. You got to get Tron Grizel and Jacob DeJesus the ball, especially DeJesus in open space, and let him just create plays. Establish Kendrick Raphael, the running back for Cal. You want to contain Kevin Jennings' legs, and you want to force some turnovers, man. Ulave and the boys on defense. I forgot Mass's first name, but he's a dog at cornerback. You want to force some turnovers if you're Cal. But my winner is SMU. I think that offense is too much. Cal has times in ball games where that offense just sputters. It struggles, even at home. Against North Carolina, it sputtered. And North Carolina almost, if it wasn't for a huge play by, I can't remember who it was, who knocked that ball out for a touchback, almost lost to North Carolina at home. They got beat by Virginia Tech. Why? Because they couldn't stop the quarterback run. They were literally running the same design QB run to Kyron Jones. And I think with Kevin Jennings, he's not the tough runner up the middle like Kyron Jones is. He's not as built, but he's the more explosive one of the two. So I think they have trouble stopping the quarterback run. And I'm ultimately going SMU to win this game and punch their ticket to another ACC championship game, which I did have them in the ACC championship game preseason. I just had them losing to Clemson. But anyway, that is the end of the episode for the Week 14 finale. I am about to go watch this Michigan-Ohio State game. It should be a big one. Should be a good one. I can't wait. Y'all enjoy y'all college football Saturday. I may be back tomorrow to, wrap up this week in college football, the regular season edition. Nah, we're not gonna talk about the championship games because we got Joe and Ace coming on for those. Which, by the way, if you're listening, it looks like the episode will be on a Thursday because the first set of championship games start on Friday. So it looks like it'll be on Thursday. So I'll talk to Ace, see if Thursday still works for him. And yeah, so y'all enjoy y'all college football Saturday. I'm gone. Peace.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.